Hi, this is Dina from Dina's Delish Cooking, back at Fremont Chabad, and I am making latkes for their women's circle. Now, I am going to be making two types of latkes. One, my regular latke, but I'm going to start by making a vegan gluten-free latke. I'm going to use egg replacer so that I get some binding on my latkes without eggs. Egg replacer is really great and easy to use. All you need to do is combine a tablespoon of egg replacer with 2 tablespoons of water and mix it up and then add it to your mixture. So I'm going to start that right now because it needs to stick for a little bit. And I'm not going to make so many of these vegan gluten-free latkes because we don't have so many people who are vegan and gluten-free. So I'm just going to do 1 egg equivalent of the egg replacer, and then we'll go from there. I've mixed my egg replacer with my 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to give this a nice mix, and you see it kind of becomes like a paste, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to leave any of the white chunks. You want to really get this into a nice paste and really mix it in there. I'm just making sure I don't have any thick lumps. It's going to thicken up as I go, but to start with, you want to make sure that the water and the egg replacer is all incorporated. Now I have it at the consistency that I need. So I'm going to set this aside and start prepping my potatoes and onions. Okay, full confession time, I don't actually have a recipe. I am just winging it from years of making potato latkes. I learned to cook from my mom, and she didn't really work with recipes so much. So this is actually kind of coming up with recipes is a little difficult for me, and it's kind of where I am in my cooking journey right now. But for this, what I'm gonna do is take about, let's see, you know what, I'm gonna do about 6 of these little potatoes. I think that's probably about 2 pounds of potatoes. I'm not 100% sure. And now I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm making potato latkes. I'm not peeling these. Why should I? I'm gonna mush it up in my food processor. I wash them really well. I don't wanna waste time to peel them. You're not gonna know the difference. I've been making my potato latkes like this for years, and nobody has ever caught on that I do not peel my potatoes. Why should you make extra work for yourself? I'm not making extra work for myself. Stop peeling the potatoes. For this amount of potatoes, for these 5 little guys, I would usually do an onion, but the onions I have are huge. So I'm just gonna do half of this onion. And what I'm gonna do is cut up this onion, and I'm gonna cut the potatoes. I'm gonna stick them in my food processor here. Now, there's lots of different ways to make potato latkes. Some people prefer to make grated potatoes, and those are really nice and crispy. But what I do is I blend them completely. That's how my mom did it. I really like it this way. I've made it both ways, and I will show you in another video how to make it 2 ways. But for today, this is what I'm doing. It's just the way I like it better. I find that, so when you do the grated potato, it's kind of like a little bit crispier. And when you do it this way, it's kind of a little bit smoother. So picture like, almost like more melty in your mouth. And I really like that. So I don't want to overload my blender. You see I have the blender with my S blade in it. Actually, this is a Cuisinart I think I have over here, but I don't want to overwhelm it with all of my stuff. So just be aware that you don't want to do that. I'm not going to fill it all the way. I'm going to blend this in several rounds. Now you can use a blender or a Cuisinart. Pick whatever you have in your kitchen. It's very forgiving. Do some of the onion and some of the potato. Ooh, actually, I'm going to do a little more potato. And let's see how this goes. Let's put this top on. And close your ears. minute. I just wanted to kind of time it with you. And this is the consistency that you're looking for here. It's not completely blended. It kind of looks like little crumbles. Now I'm gonna just put this into my bowl. And then I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna go to my next set. Same thing. I'm gonna take these onions and I'm gonna take my potatoes. And then I'm just gonna blend it up again. And that's it. See how much faster this goes when you don't peel your potatoes? Trust me, this is a lifesaver. If you've learned anything from my cooking videos, I hope it's that you're not going to peel your potatoes. You don't have to. I can't emphasize that enough. But watch them really well. Here we go. And you'll notice I left some onion out. I realized that even though I only did half of the onion, that's still plenty. And I can tell because I'm smelling it and I'm smelling my mixture and I just don't need that much. Here we go again. Putting in the blade might help. Okay. All right, let's do it the smart way. Put the blade in, and then let's put our stuff in. Making mistakes in the kitchen happens. It happens to me, it happens to everyone, and it's not hard to just fix it. I'm just gonna put the blender on again, and this time it should blend. Okay, so once again, we have our mixture, same consistency as before, and we're gonna just add it to this first one that we did over here. Okay, so now I have my mixture in my bowl, and I have my egg replacer, which is equivalent to 1 egg, and I just want you to see what the consistency looks like now that I've done the egg, and I'm gonna add this into my mixture. And once again, this egg replacer is gonna help to bind these gluten-free vegan latkes. So I just put that in there, and I'm going to do some gluten-free flour. I'm gonna start with about a 1/4 cup because I think that's fine for here. I have a 1/2 cup measuring cup here, so I'm just gonna fill half of it. Remember, you can always add things, you can't take things away. So when you're unsure about a recipe, like right now when I'm making this up, you start with less and then you go on for more. I'm gonna use my spoon here, and I'm going to mix this up, and then we're gonna see the consistency. If I like the consistency, it's good to fry. Now, when you're making items for people that are gluten-free or vegan or have any dietary issues, please remember to always make their food items first so that it's not cross-contaminated in your kitchen. You don't want to accidentally mix egg for somebody who's vegan or put in some sort of flour for somebody who has celiac. That would be terrible. So I always make sure whenever I'm doing a different type of food item, I always make it for the alternatives first. Let's see. I kind of like how this looks, but I want to add an extra 1/4 cup of flour. I only added a 1/4 cup before, so now I'm going to add the next 1/4 cup. So that will be 1 tablespoon of the egg replacer with the 2 tablespoons of water to make that paste. And now we are doing a 1/2 cup of the gluten-free flour. Oh, this is looking much better. Kind of looks a little bit like oatmeal now, and that's what I want to see. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And then I'm going to fry these babies up, and we'll see how they are. they're good. Okay, here is my pepper, and I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of the pepper. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of the salt. And I'm going to mix this up. I'm trying to make it so you could see the bowl, but I am videoing and cooking at the same time. So until I get better than this, here's as good as it gets. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste this. I have a tasting spoon. I just want to make sure I did enough salt and pepper. So I'm just going to dip it in a little. Oh, I need more. I think I might need more salt. I'm going to mix it, give it another stir, and then I'm going to check if I need more salt. New tasting spoon. I'm glad I mixed it up because I don't need more salt. So always make sure you mix really well before you decide to add more spice, because once again, you could add more, but you can't take away spice or anything else for that matter. That's a good life. Okay, we are by the oven now, and what I'm doing is heating up oil in my pot right over here. And over here, I have a baking dish lined with some paper towels for when the latkes are done. You can either have a dish lined with paper towels, or you can have a rack to put them on. I actually usually prefer a rack, but I couldn't find one here, so I'm just using the paper towels. Remember, cooking is about improvising. If you can't find what you need, then just use something else. I'm gonna wait for the oil to get very hot. You don't want to put your latkes in before your oil is hot, because then they're not gonna come out as good. So while this is heating up, I am just going to get my mixture so that I have it ready by the oven. Okay, I'm gonna do a pan change because you might have noticed I had a different pan on the oven. It turned out that that pan had been used to fry donuts, and since these are a gluten-free version, I wanna make sure that no gluten has touched the pan and that the people who are gluten-free, that it's safe for them to eat. Now, just like I was saying before, I almost made a very big mistake. I'm glad I checked, because you don't want to have cross-contamination in your kitchen. These are for my vegan gluten-free people, and I want to make sure that they are safe and that everybody who eats my food knows that they're safe when they're eating my food, and that I'm really paying attention to people that have different food allergies or different sensitivities. Okay, my oil is hot. And how can you tell that your oil is hot? Well, let's look into this pan. See how there are like little lines forming in the oil? That's a good indicator. And now I'm gonna start slowly putting in my latke mixture. Ooh, do you hear that sound? That's the sound you wanna hear. I'm scooping it up. I'm probably doing about a 1/4 cup for each latke. And I'm putting it into this nice hot oil. I'm not going to overcrowd my pan because I want to make sure that it all cooks very well. And I've got about 5 latkes in this pan. I'm going to hold the camera over so you can see. I have 5 latkes cooking, and as you can tell, they're already browning. Now they're browning a little bit too fast for me, so I'm just putting the fire down a bit because I want to make sure it cooks. If my fire is too high, what's going to happen is that the outsides will get burned and the insides will be raw, and we don't want that. So we want it to be high so that it's crispy but not burned. We don't want to burn the outside of the latkes. Now here's the trick with latkes. You don't want to flip these more than once. Any type of pancake, you only flip once. If you can't flip it and flip it and flip it, it's not going to turn out well like that. So make sure that your latke is ready to flip before you flip it. And you want to, the way you make sure to do that is that you have to make sure that one side is really ready to go. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay. Now I like a really crispy latke, so let's look at these babies. The outside here is all nice and brown. So now I am going to flip, and I'm going to flip, and I'm going to flip. These are actually quite brown, maybe a little bit browner than I thought. I don't know if it's because I'm just not used to doing it with the gluten-free, but honestly, I really like it. I like nice crispy latkes. So we're gonna give it about 2 minutes on the other side, and then we'll just take them out, and that's it. You've made your gluten-free vegan latkes. Just gonna make sure these babies have enough space. And then I'm just gonna let them sit here. Oh, I also like to move at my latkes around the pan at least once, because that way if one part of the pan is cooking faster than the other, then they all get a turn to cook. Now, you can't smell these, but I wish you could because they smell so good. I have to say, I love Hanukkah because I love fried foods. My hair is gonna smell like fried potato latkes, and I don't care. It'll be like this way for a week, and I'll just be walking around smelling my beautiful potato oniony hair and just being very happy, and then wanting to make more latkes. All right, these guys are ready to be taken out. Let's see. They are so brown, and I really like that. I wish I had a spatula, but I don't, so I'm gonna use tongs. They smell delicious. I'm gonna put them on my lined baking sheet, and then I'm just gonna plop the next ones in. Here we go, let's get some more. Here come the next ones. Oh, that was a big one. So it looks like I got about 10 latkes from these. Now remember, that was about 2.5 potatoes. Here's my last one going in. That was about 2.5 potatoes and half of a big onion, or 1 small onion. And yeah, I really like this recipe. Thanks for helping me make up a gluten-free vegan recipe. All right, everybody, it's the moment of truth. All of my vegan gluten-frees are out of the pan, and I want to taste them. Let's see how it tastes. And I'll admit, some of them look prettier than others. Some of them got shaped a little more nicely. And as this is my first latke batch of the Hanukkah season, as I make more latkes, they're going to come out a little bit prettier. That's okay. It doesn't have to be pretty to taste good. Oh my goodness, guys, so good. I mean, what could be bad? It's fried, but I love this. Yay.